Hey guys, welcome back. Look, it's trial day. We know what it is. I'm curious though, because the last trial went on through like multiple days and we had multiple investigations, because I don't really feel like we have a lot here, right? I imagine what's gonna happen here is we're probably gonna prove that Will is innocent, but we're not gonna be able to find out who the actual killer is, or maybe we'll kind of find out during this trial. And then we'll have to do a separate trial because like that format seemed to work really well. But it is interesting not actually knowing who the killer is anymore. I like this a lot more because now I have to really think even harder, which, as we've seen, is clearly my strong suit. I mean, come on. Like, anyway, it's October 18th, 10 a.m. District Court courtroom number 4. We're at number 4 this time. Greetings, Edgeworth. Glad to see you're still here. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Oh, also, this reminded me that I'm taking a moment to look at this. I was asked if I could change an option for the text box opacity so we could see more of the character sprites. Thank you for asking me to do this, because I didn't know that was a thing. I appreciate it. And now we can see a little bit more. I mean, the judge is behind a desk, right? We don't really get, but for other characters, this will be hopefully more relevant. Anyway, the prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studios, see? This here is the employee area. And the actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. What the fuck's, why is the vent open here? I never saw this. Wait a minute. Someone crawled through the vent? This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that worked at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant, not the prosecution assistant. That's me. I'm assisting the prosecution right now. Completely different. I'm terribly sorry, Your Honor. It's what we call a Freudian slip. And anyway, all the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then, after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now, jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was canceled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. And that's the case, in brief. Yeah, anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? I mean, if he's just going to literally repeat it, I think we're good. I think I can probably remember that. So, the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Samurai spear was added to the court record. It's just, okay, I'm not sure what we're gonna use with this, but whatever. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security guard, or the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Oh, God bless. Hold on, I need to take a sip of water. I should have expected this. Will the witness declare her name?
My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered.
Poor guy. Man, I feel so bad for Edgeworth. He's done some scumbag shit, but like, man, he doesn't deserve this. Come on. Your name, please.
Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma.
Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has had a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. How does this happen? Oh, her name is actually, oh my God.
Wendy Oldbag, dearie.
Your name is Oldbag? I'm so sorry. You were doomed from birth. There's no shot. Like, you never stood a chance. You've been waiting your whole life for this moment to really grow into the Oldbag name. Oh my God.
So just call me, oh God, you just, oh, and I make fun of me, just, can you believe it? But there was one boy, Captain Junior, he called me Oldbag, and I just cried, trying to crush on him.
I'm so sorry, I wasn't ready for her to pop off. I was leaning back in to refocus, so I didn't get any of that, really. Okay, I remember, I'm with it now. She's gonna do it again, I have to be prepared. Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand.
I was just getting to the good part, dearie.
Perhaps we can get to the testimony? Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct?
Yes, see, I was.
And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass you.
You know your stuff, dearie.
You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. You know the old bag family line, Phoenix? Are they famous or something? Are you familiar with them, maybe? Okay.
On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30, right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right past me at 2 o'clock. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio.
You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. All right, well, this is pretty simple. I'm gonna press everything anyway, but just in case we get something fun. So, up until that time, anyone who wanted to could go into the studio?
Well, there wasn't a security guard at the gate, no. But the main gate was locked, dearie. You'd need an employee card key to get in.
Right, the card key that I have. So what she's saying is no one who wasn't supposed to be there could get in. Was there anyone at the studio when you... I don't know why my brain just turned off there. I'm so sorry. Was there anyone at the studios when you arrived at the guard station? For old Hammer, yeah, they've been doing the run-through. I'm so sorry, my voice just gave out there. Whew. I hit the mute button in time before I had a coughing spit. This lady is killing me. Please, I need a new defendant. Or not a new defendant, I need a new witness. A run-through?
They were working out a scene between the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. They got the basics figured out by noon and were to use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5. That's why poor old Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon.
So Powers was in his dressing room sleeping when he was supposed to be practicing. Talk about a laid-back hero. If there was a run-through in the morning, why did you only get there after noon? She had some errands to run. Kind of suspicious. What were your errands? What kind of errands?
Oh, well, you know.
Answer the question.
Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know?
Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station?
Whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job.
I also just noticed that in their rehearsal, the spear was broken. Like, it's like the tip was cut off. So are there multiple spears? I hope they show that again, because I was too lost in the sauce to mention it. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way.
Anyway, I always watched Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years.
Wow, I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through too. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. So hold on, I just real quick, I want to get back to that image. So yeah. What kind of errands? Oh, you know. You see here, right? Like, the fucking spear is broken, my guy. Like, you can't see my mouse cursor, but it was conveniently covered by the text box. Thank you so much for mentioning this, because this is critical information right here. Wait a fucking second. So I'm curious, did the spear break from him, like, falling down here? Because it kind of looks like that, right? Where he fell, but because of the way he's gripping it and the way the spear hit the ground, the tip would have broken off. But the other option being that Hammer's sword is real and he cut the tip off, which would be wild. Why the fuck are they doing dress rehearsal with real swords? Or why are they even doing any sort of acting with real swords? That seems incredibly dangerous. Anyway, that's what I wanted to get out of that. Which is interesting. I wonder if that's even relevant at all or if it's just like a detail. I imagine it's gonna be relevant later. Anyway, it was 1 p.m. when she got to the guard station. Did you see the victim then?
Did I see poor old Hammer? Nope. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station.
Tell us what happened next. At the main gate from then until 5. So you were watching there the whole time. No breaks, not even a second.
Of course, I'm a professional, you know. Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper?
No, it's just after seeing you eat those donuts in the guard station yesterday.
I can watch the guard and eat the gate and eat donuts at the same time. Snipper Whapper.
Snipper Whapper? Old Windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon the whole time. Very well. What did you see? Murder happened after 2:30, right? How did you know that?
Oh, I have my ways. An overdressed young detective told me. I fed him some donuts and he talked and talked. If you ask me, that detective isn't cut out for his job.
Poor Detective Gumshoe, getting ratted out by a security guard. Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. 2 o'clock, you're sure?
Sure as spit.
Well, who was the man?
Really, you should try to not get so excited at your age. You might strain something. Now, don't get your skivvies all in a bunch. I'll tell you who it was.
Maybe don't talk this way to a fucking judge. Like, that's just incredibly disrespectful, firstly. And secondly, bitch, congratulations, you're now held in contempt of court. Like, it's just a bad idea. Don't do this. It's cowards. So you saw Mr. Powers.
That's what I said. Got wax in your ears, Sonny?
Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon.
I'll say it again. It was him.
It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. Okay. So we will present. I see now I pressed the wrong button. Silly me. I pressed right click instead of tab. I don't know why, but I would like to show you this photo. Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Old Tokyo. Miss Old Bag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw?
Of course. Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right?
No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. Dude, poor fucking Edgeworth, man. I feel like he really gets the short end of the stick here. He's clearly very talented. He's got some clever ideas up there in that noggin, but holy shit, the entire supporting cast around him is just actual clowns. Like, there's no shot. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai, but that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai.
I know that. I wasn't born yesterday.
No one in this court is accusing you of that, witness. He's having trouble calling her Old Bag, apparently. Understandable. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you?
Nosy old man. Of course I have proof.
What? Even Edgeworth. Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time.
How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you.
What do you mean? How are you supposed to know everyone would be so nosy? It's a murder trial! What do you mean? A man is dead! He was killed! Like...
Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me, this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look.
Ow. Old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. Okay, what is your proof?
I never saw anything. I don't mean, mind you.
I never say, holy shit.
I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess.
Okay, so he did break it here accidentally.
Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now, look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy?
Yeah, but how does he have a real they have another one, I guess? Multiple? So he had sprained his ankle? Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Weird phrasing. I didn't like that. I did not like reading that line aloud, but anyway.
Whippersnapper!
Hey, I haven't said anything yet.
I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow, the up and up. Youth today, always whining about each other, pointing this and that to make an old lady want to cry.
Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. I think Edgeworth has met his match. That morning during the run through the action scene, who was present at the run through?
Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's the Steel Samurai. Then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate. And me.
And what exactly were you doing?
Observing. Just observing.
What about the assistant?
Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such.
So she didn't see the run through then. Interesting. Saw Powers trip and fall. Trip and fall?
Yes, and I think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course.
You helped make it better.
I kissed it where it hurt.
Jesus Christ. Let's skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. And she didn't know about Powers' ankle.
You may continue your testimony. He broke one of the props. It's a big mess. He broke a prop?
Sure did. His own samurai spear.
His samurai spear? The murder weapon?
Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it.
This strikes me as a significant detail. I'd better write this down in the court record. Samurai spear. So we're getting actual good info just from pressing everything. I'm doing this forever now. Hold on. This is huge. Sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained?
Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch.
That's the nap.
Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked.
Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is, where is this Steel Samurai costume now? That's a very fucking good question. Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes? And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Oh shit, here he goes. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please?
No need to ask twice.
Jesus, continue more even.
The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. True? The only person I saw go to the studios before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them.
So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be this Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Man, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna get out of this. How do you know that?
Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after after some rubbing about it being a secret, pal, he told me everything.
I see Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. Only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. Are you absolutely sure?
Oh, quite, Sonny. Nothing suspicious looking passed by at all.
Nobody suspicious looking. Right. No one else went there. What about before you got to the guard station?
You mean before 1 o'clock? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then.
Also, I just realized these motherfuckers were out here eating T-bone steak for lunch. What the fuck? Where did they get this? Who cooked the T-bone steak for them? Did they pack it and bring it? Like, where did they get this? Do they have a kitchen on site and a chef to cook it? Like, damn.
And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention,
if they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness.
That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy.
Don't call him edgy boy. No, Edgeworth's better than this. He deserves better. Edgy boy? This poor guy. Old Windbag sure has balls.
Well, you know what I mean.
Old Windbags have a way of skipping over important details after all. Or, for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps? Jesus! Time for Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? How do you know that?
Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some
Rubbed about his secret pal. Okay, we already did this. The only person I saw go, no one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? Okay. I didn't expect it to loop so soon. For some reason, I thought there was more to it. Yeah, we get it. All right. Anyway, so I have to actually find a real contradiction now. So what do we have for evidence? I don't think the samurai spear is worth anything here. I want to... Interesting. I'm telling you, dude, someone else is in this outfit because, like, they're so much shorter than them, but I can't use that yet. The card key. Does the guide map tell me anything here? Not particularly. Time of death pierced through the chest by a spear. Only person saw was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Do I have written on the photo that it's photo 2? Yeah, photo number 2. Can I use that? Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct?
Yes, sirree, Sonny.
So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture?
And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground.
Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data.
Ooh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening.
That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words October 15th, 2 o'clock p.m., photo number 2.
Even I know that it means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October 15th. Really, Sonny?
Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2.
Photo number 2.
The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1? If it really was the only photo? Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not one, but two people went to the studio that day. Yet there is only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself.
You watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers.
But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means two people went by.
Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help!
Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either.
Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too.
What the fuck? Why is it so dramatic?
Whippersnapper?
Something the matter, Miss Oldbag?
Ah, that's right. I just remembered something.
Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai.
Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way.
I see. Your testimony, please. The other person, God bless, dude. I would be so... It must be so fucking exhausting to work in the judicial system in the Ace Attorney universe. Holy shit. Every fucking witness ever is like, well, actually, I have 18 different testimonies I have to give because I lied in the first 17 of them, and then, like, my lie was exposed, so I get to, like, redo it over, and it, like, holy shit, dude. This would be exhausting. I don't know if this is how actual court goes, but oh my god.
Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see? Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day.
Dude, I'm telling you, Edgeworth, I feel so bad for him. Every time, he's truly doing his best here, and, like, everyone around him is just failing horribly. Because I guarantee you what happened is fucking Gumshoe walked up to Edgeworth and was like, hey, pal, I got it. I got him. We got the killer. It's Will Powers. I got undeniable proof. And then Edgeworth is like, all right, I guess I got to figure something out with the evidence I'm given. Little does he know, the photo was not of Will Powers. He wasn't the only person that passed by the gate in all actuality. Like, all of these random contradictions that he had no fucking clue about. Like, oh my god, this poor man. But Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, of course, Sonny. I only just remembered it.
Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. The other person. So, what, I don't even know where to begin with this. Another job?
That's right. I check all the people that passed by the main gate that day. I look closely at every one of the photos that security camera has takes.
Do you back up all of the security camera data?
Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. I'm sorry, it's just anyway, I gotta fucking, I had to take a moment there. So of course there's no backups, because that would be way too convenient otherwise. Oh my god. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking?
Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part.
For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Old Bag.
Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers photo, did I?
I think she's missing the point. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day. Well, who the heck was in that photo you erased?
A fanboy.
Oh my fucking god. I swear, Your Honor, on my life, on my mother's grave, there is no doubt in my mind that no one else was in the studio ever except us 3 people. Literally not a soul. It's impossible. I am 100% certain. Actually, now that I think about it, I do remember throwing out a photo of someone else coming in that wasn't one of the 3 people I mentioned. I in no way can foresee how this is a problem. Oh my fucking god. Fanboy?
Steel Samurai fanboys, real freaks if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day.
Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words.
Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area.
That's okay, the vent we saw. Got it.
The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, that's where they come in.
They come in through the drain? Why haven't you guys fixed this? Come on, you're a security guard. This is your job. And you're like, yeah, we know about this way for people to get in. We just kind of don't care. Like, what are you talking about?
I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids. Children. Whippersnappers.
Kids? So, on the photo that you erased...
It was a boy, in probably 2nd or 3rd grade.
What? Order! Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade.
Oh yes, well we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him.
A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear? Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy. Hold on. Is this the kid dressed? Did he find the Steel Samurai costume and he was like, I'm gonna be the Steel Samurai, like my favorite character on TV, the Steel Samurai, and he just dressed up in... Which direction is this guy going? Is he going towards the studio or away from it? Because what if he's just fucking leaving with the outfit? Like, wait a minute.
Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data.
Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will now take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Yeah, like that's gonna fucking work. Good try, Judge. Funny joke. Yeah, I just won't forget this time. I'm sure that'll work. October 18th, 11:08 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me straight, were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So, who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick! What are we going to do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right. But if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. Ugh. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. I love the murmuring in the court. I don't know why, it's so good to me. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on the matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. You mean every single person I've ever defended up until this point? What happened to the people who accused them? Like, okay, I get that it's Mr. fucking Red or White, Mr. White, the red, white, blue man from the last trial accused me, Phoenix Wright, and then he went to jail because he was the actual murderer, right? But like, before that, what about the guy who accused Larry Butts? Hold on, like, did anyone accuse him, or was it, because I thought it was just a random witness that they grabbed who ended up being the killer? Now suddenly we don't look kindly on accusing the innocent? If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great, as if the stakes weren't high enough. So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed the murder? I kind of think the assistant girl is suspicious. I'm not gonna lie. I think that she's pretty suspicious right now, just because, like, she was there, but, like, no one really knows what she was doing for most of the time, except for, like, at lunch when everyone was around. I think that's kind of suspicious. I don't think the security lady is suspicious of being the murderer. Well, maybe. I don't know. I think the assistant girl. It was the assistant. The Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai. So you're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor. Objection! Aw, fuck. If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Oh. Uh-oh, bad feeling time. Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury.
Powers and poor Hammer were at the run-through. Oh, and me.
What about the assistant?
Oh, she was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle.
Oh, fuck. She didn't know about the ankle. It had to be the boy then. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the Steel Samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She wouldn't have limped. That kind of takes legs out from under that case. Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you, as I warned. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. May we move on, Mr. Wright? This fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please. Very well, go ahead. So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed this murder? I guess the security lady. I mean, she saw everything. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Oh! The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. Oh, and maybe she deleted the picture of her moving by and just claims it was a kid, because we don't actually know, right? Just because she says there was some fanboy in there doesn't mean that they actually showed up. Okay. But she was like a huge Hammer simp. Why on earth would she kill him? I don't get that. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag.
What? Whippersnapper.
Order! Order! Is this true, Oldbag?
Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you.
Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume, then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? It's simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. We will ignore the fact about your foolish deductive reasoning earlier and completely forget that it ever happened. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. Jesus, Phoenix, come on. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time.
What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it? Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something.
What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way. We don't give Granny a break. Absolutely not. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer?
You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope.
Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy, the one whose photo I erased.
He's only a grade schooler though, as you said. Second or third grade, was it?
That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops.
There's no fucking shot. There is no shot a second or third grader is going to be able to overpower like I don't know how old, like Jack Hammer looked like he was maybe, I don't know, mid-20s. There is no fucking shot a 10-year-old is good. And also, he was buff as hell. Like, the dude was fit. I mean, it wasn't buff as hell, but he was clearly very fit. No shot a 10-year-old is gonna take him down. No world. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure? Or is it be nice to your kids and mean to your elders day, whippersnapper?
I have proof.
Proof?
Indeed? Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder. The spear? The card key? He couldn't have gotten into the studio, right? The card key. There's no other way for him to get into the studio. The scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key? I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? Windbag, speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name? Something Oldbag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. Let's go. We did. Maybe she did do it. I don't know. I just didn't feel like she had the motive.
Wait a second. I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me. I'm talking.
Maya's expression this whole fucking trial has been great. She has not had a different sprite this whole time. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about? By whom? Huh, you mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. What the fuck? What is going on?
Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me just to pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Oh my fucking god. Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine. Or your cross-examination, whatever, you get it. So they wanted you to keep quiet. So you were told not to talk.
That's right, by the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less.
Why didn't I hear about this?
Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it.
There were some other people there. Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer, for starters.
The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? That's a good point. That's a very good point, actually. Of course.
Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it.
So, where were these people?
The director was in the employee area all morning of the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2? There was a Studio 2?
Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left.
The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? Would you like to continue the cross-examination? I don't know why I struggled so much to say that. I think I've already asked all my questions, but... Now, let's continue. Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder.
I know that, silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side.
So you got your bonus and you still talked. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. Okay, well, we'll take a break then. Your Honor, we have learned that there were others at the Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. Dude, he is seething. He is absolutely seething, and I understand. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. Let's go! We bought a day! Huge! October 18th, 1:04 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Oh, really? It's nothing. Oh, or should I... We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that steel samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers?
I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, or with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Right, we'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Poor Powers, I feel bad for him. Man, all he was just trying to do was his action scene. He slipped, tripped, and sprained his ankle, and now he's being pinned for murder. Poor fucking guy. But anyway, this is where we're gonna end the episode. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you look down in the description, you'll find a link to the official store page. You can get the game for yourself if you want to do so. And if you made it this far with me, I really, truly appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or your night or whatever time it is, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.